You have to go through the darkness to see the light. I'm sure that's from some sort of movie, but that's how I feel when I'm doing this video. These are my worst models or disappointments in collecting last year. So I only have 9. I couldn't find really a 10th one to justify talking about. And this one's question, well, anyways. Well, this is questionable. Maybe you won't agree with me, but this is a TLV. And what bothers me about this one is just those giant openings in the roof. I mean, if you enlarge that to a full-size car, that'd be like having a mailbox in your roof, or 2 mailboxes. And it's just because it's a toy-like gimmick of having this open, and then it doesn't even look realistic because fender wheel wells aren't clear, right? So it's really trying to introduce something that children want to see into a model that is this expensive. On top of that, there's a little bit of paint rash going on here as well. So I'm always bashing on this brand because I feel like they're simply overpriced for what you're getting. This is it's a nice model and all that, but it looks like it's worth about 20 bucks, maybe 25 tops. But this thing retailed for a lot more than that. But the main problem I have with TLV is their paint rash. Just look at this as I slowly spin it around. It's pretty much the entire body is covered in paint rash. And some people theorize this has to do with humidity. But other things are painted in humid environments and they don't have these problems. I had an air conditioner sitting outside in the rain for 10 years and it didn't look like this. Other brands, Hot Wheels for instance, you can open up a Hot Wheels that's 50 years old and it won't have paint rash. So how is it, a brand making $1 models doesn't have these problems, or most other brands simply don't have these problems? As of today, I have 48 TLVs, and only 23 of them don't have problems. So that still means the majority of my TLVs have problems of some sort. And that's just that's the worst failure rate you could have. I mean, most industries shouldn't have a 50% failure rate, right? It's just horrible. Okay, so this was a train wreck. You'll have to look up Ace model Enzo. This used to be a matte finish green, but that matte finish green was so dusty. I had to repaint it. And also I remember this mirror was totally messed up, so I just stripped it down and repainted it, but the mirror holes here, the putty, seemed to have sank and dried out. But I bought another red one, which also had quality problems as well. So frankly, I just don't think the Ace model Enzo is very good, seeing how I bought 2 of them and neither of them were perfect. Alright, M2 machines. I don't buy too many of your models, sadly, because of this thing. That gap is so bad. It looks like it was like in a car accident and then repaired by Mako. And then on top of that, look at this front tire here. So that thing is, well, come on. So I'm not sure how that left the factory, but there's clearly no quality control going on at M2 machines. And I hear a lot of other people complaining about that as well. So luckily the M2 machines aren't very expensive, so yeah, whatever. I lived and I learned, and now I don't collect too many from that brand. Let's get this one out of the way. You'll have to watch the video on this resin Fairlady here. It had resin tires and wheels, and the gap was so bad that I had to throw them out, and I ended up 3D printing my own wheels and brakes and adding Chorokyu tires to them. And then I think I had to destroy the base, so this is a new base that I put together here. So this is an expensive model. So a lot of things to learn from this video is money doesn't get you perfection. Here's a good example. This is the first resin model by Inno64. I love Inno64, but this model costs 2 to 3 times as much as a regular Inno64. And look at that Nissan logo. That second S is missing a large chunk of it. So I kind of feel like if this thing costs 2 to 3 times as much, yet it pretty much has the same amount of details it's close in the amount of work effort as a regular N064. The only extra effort I think from this brand is this has the sheet windows, and so the sheet the molding around the windows as well. So that's definitely extra effort. But you know, all the other parts and stuff you would find on a normal N064. So I feel like that important logo should have not left the factory. Okay. I also can't get it out of the case. This fake leather stuff that a lot of brands use is a bad idea because I know in a few years this leather's going to crack. This happens in the action figure industry. This fake leather stuff just cracks and it delaminates from the fabric behind it. So be mindful of that, guys. You're going to replace this base sooner or later. Okay, here's a design problem. This scale mini has oversized wheels. I measured these with some calipers and I multiplied by 24. 64 and then divided by 25.4. So basically these rims are 20.5 inches. Well, they're actually a little bit bigger than that. The thing is, a 250LM ran on 15-inch wheels. So these are 5-inch plus sized wheels on a 60s Ferrari. So it kind of makes it look like it came out of like a Discovery Channel TV show, like a West Coast Choppers kind of thing. I don't know, but this is, you know, it just doesn't look right. Which is a shame, because the rest of the execution is quite fantastic, all the details in this thing. But, I mean, I don't know how someone could say, hey, yeah, just put those giant rims on that 60s Ferrari and call it a day. This is one of my early purchases, so I wasn't, you know, paying attention. Heck, I don't pay attention now and a lot of times and make mistakes all the time. So, just a warning, you probably want to avoid this if you want a realistic Ferrari. But if you're into custom Ferraris, it's already done for you. Okay. This one here. This is a kind of a deceitful brand, this My Model Collect. They're listing this as 164. When you say 1/64, that's a, you know, that's math. That's a mathematical definition of the size of this thing. But this thing is way bigger than a 1/64 scale Porsche. I mean, here's an Enzo comparison, right? But 911s aren't that big, right? It's just it's huge. It's I think it was like 155 scale when I measured the wheelbase, but you'll have to go back to the review to know for sure. So I feel like, you know, this brand, My Model Collect, they're just liars. You can't be that stupid to say that we don't know what 1/64 scale means, because someone had to build this in a computer. And so you use computers, you have to punch in all the numbers mathematically. So yeah, that's so weird and wrong. The packaging should say 3-inch or non-scale. It shouldn't say 1/64. I only got refunded 50%. So basically I paid 50% for a model I never wanted. This is, I don't know, very, very frustrating. Okay, so here's the last one, I guess. It's a Shuko, an established brand. This is one of their first resin models, but it had problems. You can go back to the review of this, like the wheels were sticking out of the fenders, and so I had to take it apart and cut some of the axles down. But worse was the tires are too big for the wheel openings. The diameter of this tire is wider than the opening of the plastic fender. So this is actually an ovalized tire. It's not actually round anymore. They're like oval. So that's just poorly designed. On top of that, this model is very expensive for no reason. This model costs as much as this model, I think. They're roughly around the same price. Both of them are resin. This model has no interior though, nor does it have a brake system. Whereas, you know, this one clearly does have the brakes, and it's got, you know, seats and a roll cage and, you know, dashboard and all the details, extra work on the inside. So I just don't know why a car missing so much should cost that much. Right? It's just overpriced. And then it was poorly designed on top of it. It also came in a really flimsy base, so I swapped it out. the box it came in isn't a standard size box. I like to stack up my crystal boxes, so I swapped it over to this Tarmac Works one. Alright. Okay, so that is just a couple of warnings, I guess, to you guys if you're new to collecting. Some suggestions would be to pay attention, look at the photos carefully. I've seen some promotional photos are actually photoshopped. They don't actually show the real wheels. It's like I think the wheels on a Tarmac Works or something like that. They look photoshopped. So I'm going to wait till that model comes out for real before I purchase it. So that would have maybe saved me from buying this if I paid more attention. This one is just a straight up lie. I couldn't do anything about it. You know, it's just a shame. I think you can just try to maybe buy M2 machines in a store, look at them in the package. I do that with green lights. Green lights also have a lot of QC problems. So I only try to buy them in a store with my own eyes. This one, there's no way to ever know. The promotional photos looked fine. This one, no way to know because, well, actually I looked at the store even, but I just wasn't paying attention to enough, I guess. This you'll never know because they only come in, they don't come in transparent boxes anyways. They're always in a cardboard box. And this one you can never know either, so. Alright, well, I guess since you can't know, I would just forewarn you guys if you're getting into this hobby, you just gotta accept that you're gonna have a lot of lemons. These are the worst case scenarios. So 9 out of, I think I have like 800 realistic looking models, maybe 300 Churro Qs, maybe 120 Hot Wheels, so over 1,000 pieces now. So 9 out of 1,000 actually isn't a very bad percentage. So keep that in mind. Okay guys, well, amazingly I wasn't that angry doing this. I should be more angry. But the next video should be a lot nicer because it's going to be all the expensive models that I really got to enjoy this year. Past year, that is. Okay, thanks guys. I'll see you around.